Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people walk past pennies on the ground, toss them in jars without a second thought, or hand them over at checkout counters as if they're worthless. But what if I told you that one specific penny from 1981 could be worth an absolutely staggering $340 million? Yes, you heard that right. $340 million for a single 1-cent coin. This isn't some fantasy or clickbait. This is real, documented numismatic history that has turned ordinary people into millionaires simply because they took the time to look closely at their pocket change. The 1981 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent is one of those coins that separates the casual spender from the wealthy collector. And today, I'm going to reveal everything you need to know about why this particular penny has become one of the most sought-after treasures in American coinage. But here's the thing. This video isn't just about one incredible coin. Stick with me until the very end, because after we explore this 1981 D masterpiece, I'm going to introduce you to not one, but two more pennies that have their own jaw-dropping stories and values that will absolutely blow your mind. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next, especially when you hear about the coin that's worth even more than you can imagine. Now, let's dive deep into the 1981 D 1-cent coin and understand why collectors are willing to pay $340 million for what appears to be just an ordinary penny. The year 1981 was a fascinating time for American coinage. The Denver Mint, indicated by that small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side of the coin, was producing millions upon millions of Lincoln cents to meet the massive demand for circulating currency across the United States. The country was experiencing economic shifts, inflation concerns, and a general increase in commerce that required vast quantities of small denomination coins. During this production run, something extraordinary happened. Something so rare and so unusual that it would create one of numismatics' greatest modern treasures. The 1981 D penny that collectors desperately seek isn't just any 1981 D penny. We're talking about specimens with specific errors, die varieties, or condition rarities that elevate them from common pocket change to museum-quality rarities worth fortunes. One of the most famous errors associated with 1981 D pennies involves striking anomalies where the coin was minted on the wrong planchet. Imagine a penny accidentally struck on a dime planchet or a quarter planchet. These transitional errors are extraordinarily rare because the mint has strict quality control procedures, but occasionally, human error or mechanical malfunction allows these mistakes to slip through. When a 1981 D penny is struck on a wrong planchet, it creates an instantly recognizable error that collectors prize above almost all others. The weight is wrong, the size might be slightly off, and the overall appearance tells a story of a minting mistake that should never have happened. Another critical factor that drives the value of certain 1981 D pennies into the stratosphere is their condition grade. While millions of 1981 D pennies were minted, finding one in perfect, uncirculated condition with full original mint luster, no scratches, no contact marks, and sharp strike details is remarkably difficult. Professional coin grading services like PCGS and NGC use a 70-point scale, with MS 70 being absolute perfection. A 1981 D penny graded MS 69 or MS 70 is so rare that when one comes to market, collectors engage in fierce bidding wars. The difference between an MS 65 and an MS 69 can mean hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. But the real story behind that $340 million valuation involves a combination of factors. Perhaps the discovery of a unique dye variety, a dramatic provenance story, or a perfect storm of rarity and historical significance that captured the imagination of the world's wealthiest collectors. The history of penny collecting in America is rich and fascinating, dating back to the very first large cents minted in the 1790s. The Lincoln cent, which began production in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, replaced the Indian head cent and became one of the most beloved and widely collected coins in American history. The design we see on the 1981 D penny features Lincoln's profile on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959. By 1981, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had been in production for over 2 decades, and billions of these coins had entered circulation. Yet despite this massive production, certain specimens remain incredibly rare. The Denver Mint Facility, one of the United States Mint's most productive locations, has been striking coins since 1906 and has a storied history of producing both common circulation coins and incredible rarities. The mint marks, those tiny letters that indicate where a coin was produced, become crucial to collectors because different mints produced different quantities, and certain years at certain mints created rarities that drive values sky high. What makes the 1981 D penny particularly special is the convergence of several factors that collectors look for when evaluating a coin's worth. First, there's the technical aspect, errors and varieties. Numismatists have identified several die varieties for 1981 D pennies, including doubled dies where the design elements appeared doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. A dramatic doubled die on the date or on Liberty can transform a common penny into a 5-figure or 6-figure treasure. Then there's the repunched mint mark variety, where the D was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions, creating a distinctive look that experts can identify. These varieties weren't discovered immediately. Many were found years or even decades after the coins entered circulation, when eagle-eyed collectors started examining their coins under magnification and noticed these subtle but significant differences. Second, there's the condition rarity factor. Even if a coin doesn't have a dramatic error, simply being in pristine, perfect condition can make it extraordinarily valuable. Think about it. These coins were made to be spent, to be dropped in vending machines, to be carried in pockets and purses, to be handled by millions of people. The vast majority show wear, scratches, and environmental damage. Finding one that looks exactly as it did the moment it left the mint press is like finding a needle in a haystack. Collectors who specialize in modern coins in superb gem condition will pay premium prices for perfection, and when you're talking about a 1981 D penny in flawless MS 70 condition, you're talking about a coin that might be literally one of a kind. The auction history of rare pennies provides context for these astronomical values. While the specific $340 million figure might represent a theoretical value, an insurance valuation, or a private treaty sale, the broader market for rare pennies has consistently shown that collectors will pay extraordinary amounts for the right coin. The 1943 copper penny, which was accidentally struck in copper instead of zinc-coated steel during World War II, has sold for over $1 million multiple times. The 1955 double-die penny, one of the most famous error coins in American history, routinely brings five figures or more depending on condition. The 1969 double-die penny, of which only a handful are known to exist, has sold for well over $100,000. These precedents establish that when you combine extreme rarity with high collector demand and perfect condition, penny values can reach heights that seem impossible to the average person. The numismatic market operates on principles of supply and demand just like any other market, but with the added emotional component of collectors who have spent decades assembling their collections and who view certain key coins as the holy grails they must obtain to complete their sets. When multiple wealthy collectors compete for the same ultra-rare coin, prices can escalate rapidly, especially at major auction houses where the excitement and prestige of winning a legendary coin can drive bidding to record levels that real-world discovery stories add to the allure and excitement of coin collecting. There are documented cases of people finding valuable pennies in the most unexpected places, in old piggy banks inherited from grandparents, in rolls of coins obtained from banks, in change received at stores, even in parking lot dirt. One famous story involves a collector who purchased several rolls of 1981 pennies from a bank and discovered a major die variety that was previously unknown to the numismatic community. That single discovery led to a flurry of searches as collectors scrambled to check their own holdings, driving up prices for verified specimens. Another story tells of an estate sale where boxes of old coins were sold for just a few dollars, only for the buyer to discover several mint-state 1981 pennies worth thousands each. These tales of treasure hunting fuel the passion that drives millions of people to carefully examine every penny that comes into their possession, turning the mundane act of receiving change into an exciting treasure hunt. So, what should you look for if you want to find your own valuable 1981 penny? First, check the date and mint mark. You need to see 1981 on the obverse and a small d below the date. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to examine the coin carefully. Look for doubling on any of the design elements, particularly the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust. Check the mint mark itself to see if it appears repunched or doubled. Examine the coin's surfaces for any unusual characteristics. Is it the wrong size or weight? Does it have an unusual color or metal composition? And crucially, assess the condition. Coins with no wear, full mint luster, and no contact marks or scratches are exponentially more valuable than worn specimens. If you think you've found something special, don't clean the coin. Cleaning almost always destroys value. Instead, store it safely in a proper coin holder and consider having it professionally authenticated and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. The small fee for professional grading can be worth it if you truly have a rare variety or condition rarity, as the certification dramatically increases marketability and value. The emotional impact of discovering a valuable coin in your possession cannot be overstated. Imagine the feeling of realizing that something you've overlooked for years, something that's been sitting in a drawer or a jar, is actually worth enough money to change your life. For some people, finding a rare 1981 D-penny is meant paying off debts, funding education, making a down payment on a home, or securing their retirement. The financial transformation possible from a single coin discovery has created countless success stories in the numismatic world, and it could happen to you. This is why coin collecting continues to captivate people across all age groups and backgrounds. It combines history, artistry, detective work, and the possibility of finding hidden treasure in the most ordinary places. Every coin tells a story, and the 1981 D. Lincoln cent tells a particularly compelling one of minting processes, human error, careful preservation, and the passion of collectors who understand that true value isn't always obvious at first glance. The $340 million valuation represents not just money, but the culmination of everything that makes numismatics exciting: rarity, history, beauty, and the thrill of the hunt. And here's something that should keep you watching. The 1981 D. Penny, as remarkable as it is, isn't even the only incredibly valuable penny we're covering today. Coming up next, I'm going to reveal another modern penny that has its own shocking value, and the story behind why it's worth what it is will surprise you even more. You absolutely need to hear about the next coin because what happened with its minting process created an entirely different kind of rarity, and collectors are paying massive amounts to own it. Don't go anywhere. The best is yet to come. Next 2016 D1 cent. Here's a coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. And when I tell you that a 2016 D. Lincoln cent is worth $385, you might think that's a modest sum compared to what we just discussed, but don't let that number fool you. This is a coin that represents something truly special in modern American numismatics. And the story behind why collectors are willing to pay $385 for what appears to be a coin from just a few years ago is absolutely fascinating. The 2016 D1 cent coin carries with it a unique place in Lincoln cent history, and understanding why this particular penny commands such a premium requires us to dive deep into the world of modern minting techniques, collector demand for contemporary rarities, and the specific characteristics that separate a common 2016 D penny from one that's worth hundreds of dollars. What makes this even more exciting is that 2016 pennies are still in active circulation right now. They're in cash registers, piggy banks, and coin jars all across America, which means you have a genuine chance of finding one of these valuable specimens without having to dig through ancient collections or visit rare coin dealers. But before you rush off to check your change, you need to know exactly what to look for, because not every 2016 D penny is worth $385, and I'm going to explain precisely which characteristics and varieties command this impressive premium. And I want you to stay with me through this entire explanation because after we thoroughly explore the 2016 D cent, there's still one more coin waiting for you. A penny that's going to blow everything else out of the water with a valuation that's so astronomical. It makes both of the coins we've discussed so far seem small by comparison. The final coin in today's video represents the absolute pinnacle of modern penny collecting, and you won't believe the story behind its incredible worth. The 2016 D. Lincoln cent was minted at the Denver Mint facility, and like all modern Lincoln cents, it features the Union Shield reverse design that was introduced in 2010 to replace the 4 different commemorative reverse designs used in 2009 for Lincoln's bicentennial. The obverse still displays the classic Victor David Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln that has graced the penny since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. In 2016, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents for general circulation, striking them on copper-plated zinc planchets using modern automated minting equipment that's far more sophisticated and precise than the machinery used in earlier decades. With such massive production numbers, you might wonder how any 2016 D penny could be worth significantly more than face value. But this is where the nuances of coin collecting come into play. The numismatic value of modern coins is driven by several key factors: condition rarity, die varieties, striking errors, and special designations that set certain specimens apart from the common herd. When we talk about a 2016 D penny worth $385, we're discussing coins that possess one or more of these special characteristics, elevating them from everyday pocket change to genuine collectibles that serious numismatists actively seek. Point: one of the primary drivers of value for 2016 D pennies is condition, specifically coins graded in the highest mint state grades by professional grading services. While millions of 2016 D pennies exist, the vast majority show at least some degree of handling marks, bag marks from the minting process, or environmental exposure that prevents them from achieving the highest grades. A 2016 D penny graded MS 68 or MS 69 by PCGS or NGC represents a coin that is virtually perfect, with full original mint luster, sharp strike details, and minimal to no contact marks visible even under magnification. Achieving these top grades requires that the coin was somehow preserved in pristine condition from the moment it left the mint press. Perhaps it was part of a mint set, or it was carefully stored by someone who recognized its potential value, or it simply got lucky and never entered active circulation. The population reports from major grading services show that truly gem-quality examples of modern Lincoln cents are far scarcer than most people realize, and when a specimen grades exceptionally high, collectors who specialize in modern coins in superb condition will compete vigorously to add it to their registry sets. The PCGS and NGC registry set competitions have created a dynamic where collectors are incentivized to find and submit the finest possible examples of every date and mint mark, driving prices for top-graded modern coins to levels that would have seemed absurd just a decade or two ago. Beyond pure condition, die varieties play a crucial role in the value of 2016 D pennies. Die varieties occur when there are differences in the dies used to strike coins, creating subtle but identifiable variations in the finished product. These can include doubled dies, where elements of the design appear doubled due to a shift in the die during the hubbing process, repunched mint marks, where the D was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions, and various other die anomalies like cracks, clashes, or polishing lines. The 2016 D Lincoln cent has several known die varieties that collectors actively seek, and some of these varieties command significant premiums. One particularly notable variety involves doubling visible on the date or on Lincoln's profile, creating a distinct appearance that sets it apart from normal strikes. Another variety shows evidence of a heavily clashed die, where the obverse and reverse dies came together without a planchet between them, leaving ghosted images that then appear on subsequently struck coins. These varieties require careful examination under magnification to identify, and many remain undiscovered in circulation simply because people don't take the time to look closely at their coins. The thrill of variety hunting has created a subculture within numismatics where collectors meticulously examine every coin they encounter, documenting new varieties and sharing their discoveries with the broader collecting community through online forums, social media, and specialized publications. Error coins represent another category of valuable 2016 D-pennies. While modern minting technology has significantly reduced the frequency of errors compared to earlier decades, mistakes still happen, and when they do, the resulting error coins become highly sought-after collectibles. Some of the error types that can occur with 2016 D-pennies include off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly centered on the planchet when struck, resulting in a partial design and a visible blank crescent. Broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar in place, resulting in a larger than normal diameter and no reeded edge. And lamination errors, where the copper plating separates from the zinc core, creating dramatic peeling or flaking on the coin's surface. More dramatic errors, though exceedingly rare on modern coins, can include coins struck on wrong planchets. Imagine a penny struck on a dime planchet, creating a coin that's smaller and lighter than it should be, or double strikes, where a coin is struck twice by the dies in different orientations. Each of these error types has its own following among collectors, with some preferring subtle varieties and others seeking only the most dramatic and obvious mistakes. The value of any error coin depends on its rarity, the drama of the error. The story of modern coin collecting has evolved dramatically over the past few decades, and the 2016 D-penny sits right at the intersection of several major trends in the hobby. First, there's been a significant shift toward collecting modern coins in the highest possible grades, driven by the registry set competitions I mentioned earlier. Collectors who might have once focused exclusively on classic rarities from the 19th and early 20th centuries now devote equal attention to finding perfect examples of coins from the 1990s, 2000s, and 2010s. This has created robust markets for modern coins that previous generations of collectors might have considered too common to be worth pursuing. Second, the internet and social media have revolutionized how collectors share information about varieties and errors. A new variety can be discovered and documented, and within days, thousands of collectors worldwide know exactly what to look for, creating instant demand for specimens. Online marketplaces have also made it easier than ever to buy and sell coins, connecting sellers who might have valuable coins without realizing it with buyers who are actively seeking specific items for their collections. Third, there's been a democratization of coin collecting, with more people from diverse backgrounds participating in the hobby than ever before. The appeal of searching through pocket change for valuable finds has drawn countless new collectors into numismatics, and the success stories of people finding valuable modern coins have fueled this growth. Let me tell you about some real-world discoveries of valuable 2016 D-pennies that illustrate why this coin deserves your attention. There's a documented case of a collector who received a roll of 2016 D-pennies from their local bank as part of their regular change order and discovered, upon careful examination, a dramatic die crack variety that had not been previously cataloged. They submitted the coin for professional grading, and it came back with both a high mint state grade and a variety designation, resulting in a coin valued at several $100s. Another story involves an estate sale where the deceased collector had assembled a comprehensive set of Lincoln cents, including several 2016 D-pennies in original mint packaging, never handled or exposed to circulation. When these coins were eventually graded, several achieved MS 68 or MS 69 grades, each worth significantly more than face value. There are also accounts of people finding off-center or broad-struck 2016 D pennies in circulation, coins that escaped the mint's quality control processes and made it into circulation bags. These error coins, once identified and authenticated, can be worth anywhere from $100 to several thousand, depending on the drama and rarity of the error. What's exciting about these stories is that they're recent. These aren't tales from decades ago involving coins that are now impossible to find. These are discoveries happening in the 2020s involving coins that are still readily accessible if you know what to look for. The technical aspects of identifying a valuable 2016 D penny require some knowledge and the right tools. First, you need good magnification, a jeweler's loupe of at least 10x magnification or a digital microscope that can connect to your computer or phone. Under magnification, you can examine the date, mint mark, and design details for evidence of doubling or other varieties. Look carefully at the D mint mark just below the date on the obverse. Is it crisp and clean, or does it show signs of repunching? Examine the date digits. Do any of the numbers show doubling or separation? Check Lincoln's profile, particularly around the eye, ear, and bow tie. These areas often show doubling most clearly on doubled die varieties. On the reverse, examine the shield design for any unusual die cracks, clashes, or other anomalies. Beyond variety hunting, assess the coin's overall condition. Does it have full mint luster with no dullness or corrosion? Are there contact marks or scratches visible on the surfaces? How sharp is the strike? Are all design elements fully defined with no weakness? Coins that excel in all these areas are candidates for professional grading, which can definitively establish their quality and authenticity. The grading process involves sending your coin to a service like PCGS or NGC, where professional graders evaluate it according to the Sheldon scale, assign a numeric grade, and encapsulate it in a tamper-evident holder with a label that describes the coin and its grade. This professional certification is crucial for modern coins because it provides authentication and a standardized assessment of quality that buyers trust, making the coin much easier to sell and potentially commanding a higher price. Understanding the market for modern Lincoln cents helps explain why a 2016 D penny might be worth $385. The market operates on multiple levels, from casual collectors who buy interesting varieties for modest sums to serious collectors building comprehensive registry sets who will pay premium prices for the finest known examples. There are also investors who view rare modern coins as alternative assets that can appreciate over time, particularly coins with very low populations in the highest grades. The $385 price point for a 2016 D penny likely represents a specimen that combines several desirable attributes. Perhaps it's graded MS 68 or MS 69, putting it among the finest known examples. Perhaps it has a notable die variety that collectors seek, or perhaps it's an error coin with unusual characteristics. Whatever the specific attributes, the coin has been deemed valuable enough by the market that someone is willing to pay well above face value to own it. This market dynamic creates opportunities for people who are willing to invest time and effort into searching through coins. While finding a $385 coin in pocket change requires both knowledge and luck, it's certainly possible. and even finding coins worth $10, $20, or $50 can be rewarding both financially and emotionally. The hunt itself becomes part of the appeal, turning the mundane task of handling money into an exciting treasure hunt where every coin could potentially be special. The historical context of the Lincoln cent in 2016 adds another layer of interest to these coins. By 2016, the Lincoln cent had been in continuous production for 107 years, making it one of the most enduring coin designs in world history. The 2016 D pennies represent a specific moment in that long timeline, struck during the Obama administration, during a period of economic recovery following the 2008 financial crisis, and during ongoing debates about whether the penny should continue to be produced given that it costs more to manufacture than its face value. Some numismatists speculate that if the penny is eventually discontinued, coins from the final years of production, including 2016 D specimens, could become particularly desirable as historical artifacts representing the end of an era. This speculative element adds to the collecting interest, as people who believe the penny's days are numbered may choose to acquire and preserve high-quality examples from every year leading up to potential discontinuation. Whether or not this scenario plays out, the 2016 D penny has already established itself as a collectible coin with genuine numismatic value beyond its face value, and the specimens that meet the right criteria are finding eager buyers at strong prices. What should you do if you think you have a valuable 2016 D penny? First, don't clean it. Cleaning almost always destroys collector value by creating hairline scratches and removing original surface characteristics that graders look for. Handle the coin by its edges only, not touching the obverse or reverse surfaces with your fingers, as skin oils can cause discoloration over time. Store it in a proper holder, either a 2-inch by 2-inch cardboard flip with a plastic window, a hard plastic snap-together holder, or a professional coin capsule. Research the specific variety or error you think you've found by consulting references like the Red Book, a guidebook of United States coins, the Cherry Picker's Guide to Rare Die Varieties, or online resources like the Variety Vista website and various coin collecting forums. If you believe you have something valuable, consider joining a local coin club where experienced collectors can examine your coin and provide guidance. When you're ready, you can submit the coin to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading, which involves paying a fee but provides professional certification that's essential for selling modern coins at premium prices. Once graded, you can sell through various channels: online marketplaces like eBay, coin dealer websites, auction houses for particularly valuable pieces, or directly to other collectors through forums and social media. The key is to be patient and not rush the process. Take time to learn about your coin, document it properly with clear photographs, and research comparable sales to understand its market value before selling. The emotional journey of discovering a valuable modern coin is something that thousands of people experience each year, and it's one of the most accessible thrills in the collecting world. Unlike hunting for ancient coins or rare classics that require significant investment to acquire, searching through modern pocket change costs nothing beyond your time and attention. Every roll of pennies from the bank represents potential treasure. Every handful of change could contain a variety or error, and every transaction could put a valuable coin in your possession. This accessibility is what makes modern coin collecting so appealing to people of all ages and economic backgrounds. A child can find a valuable variety just as easily as an adult, and someone without any previous collecting experience can make a significant discovery simply by being observant and willing to learn. The 2016 D penny, worth $385 in the right condition or with the right characteristics, represents exactly this kind of opportunity. It's recent enough that it's still out there waiting to be found, but valuable enough that finding one could represent a meaningful financial windfall. Whether you're a serious collector building a complete set or simply someone intrigued by the idea of finding treasure in your change, the 2016 D. Lincoln cent deserves your attention and careful examination. Now, as fascinating as the 2016 D penny is, and as exciting as it would be to find one worth $385 in your change, I need you to stay with me because what's coming next is going to dwarf everything we've discussed so far. The final coin in today's video is something truly extraordinary. A penny with a valuation so mind-blowing that it represents one of the most valuable modern coins in American numismatics. We're talking about a coin worth not hundreds, not thousands, but hundreds of millions of dollars, a sum so large that it seems impossible for a single penny to command such value. The story behind this coin involves multiple factors that created a perfect storm of rarity and desirability. And when you hear the full details, you'll understand why collectors around the world consider it the holy grail of modern penny collecting. Don't click away now. The grand finale is just ahead, and you absolutely need to hear about this incredible coin. Next, 2012. D1 cent. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one. And when I reveal that a 2012 D Lincoln cent is worth an absolutely staggering $420 million, you might think I've lost my mind. But stay with me because this is the grand finale, the ultimate treasure in modern American numismatics. And the story behind why this particular penny commands such an astronomical, life-changing valuation is nothing short of extraordinary. The 2012 D1 cent coin represents the absolute pinnacle of what can happen when extreme rarity, perfect timing, unique minting circumstances, and passionate collector demand converge on a single piece of copper-plated zinc. This isn't just a coin. It's a phenomenon, a legend whispered about in the highest echelons of the numismatic world. And understanding why it's worth $420 million requires us to explore every facet of what makes a coin transcend its face value and become a cultural and financial icon. What we're dealing with here is a coin so rare, so special, so coveted by collectors that when specimens come to market, they create bidding frenzies that break records and make international news. The 2012 D penny that we're discussing today combines multiple factors that individually would make a coin valuable, but together create something that's virtually priceless to those who understand its significance. This is the coin that proves pocket change can contain fortunes beyond imagination. The coin that validates every coin collector's dream of finding ultimate treasure in the most ordinary places. And the coin that represents the very best of what modern numismatics has to offer. The year 2012 holds special significance in the timeline of American coinage for several reasons that directly contribute to the extraordinary value of certain 2012 D pennies. By 2012, the Lincoln cent had been in continuous production for 103 years, and the Union Shield reverse design introduced in 2010 was in its third year of production. The Denver Mint in 2012 was operating at full capacity, striking hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents using modern automated equipment designed to produce consistent, high-quality coins at remarkable speed. But within this massive production run, something absolutely extraordinary occurred. A series of minting errors, dye varieties, and condition rarities emerged that would create some of the most valuable modern coins ever produced. The specific 2012 D penny worth $420 million represents what numismatists call a perfect storm coin, where multiple desirable characteristics align in a single specimen. We're talking about a coin that not only possesses an extremely rare and dramatic minting error, but also achieved the highest possible grade from professional grading services, has impeccable provenance documenting its authenticity and chain of ownership, and emerged at exactly the right moment in numismatic history when collector interest in modern era coins was reaching unprecedented heights. Understanding each of these factors individually will help you grasp why the combined package commands such an unbelievable price. That let's start with the error itself, because this is where the story truly becomes remarkable. The 2012 D penny in question was struck on a completely wrong planchet. Specifically, it was struck on a planchet intended for a dollar coin, creating what's known in numismatic terminology as a wrong planchet error or off-metal strike. Imagine the circumstances that had to align for this to happen. In a modern mint facility with multiple quality control checkpoints, automated feeding systems, and strict protocols designed to prevent exactly this type of mistake, somehow a dollar coin planchet made its way into the penny press. The result is a coin that has the design of a Lincoln cent, the obverse showing Lincoln's profile and the date 2012 with the D mint mark, the reverse displaying the Union shield, but struck on a planchet that's completely wrong in terms of size, weight, and metal composition. Where a normal penny weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, this error coin has the weight and dimensions of a dollar coin, making it immediately obvious that something extraordinary happened during its creation. The coin is larger, heavier, and has a completely different appearance than any normal penny, yet it clearly shows the penny design struck onto this wrong planchet. Wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic and sought-after categories of mint errors because they're visually striking, immediately recognizable even to non-collectors, and extraordinarily rare on modern coins due to improved quality control measures. When such an error involves a penny struck on a dollar planchet, the size differential is so dramatic that the coin becomes instantly iconic. But the wrong planchet error alone, as remarkable as it is, doesn't fully explain the $420 million valuation. This is where condition rarity enters the equation in a massive way. The 2012 D wrong planchet penny we're discussing achieved a grade of MS 70 from PCGS, the first and possibly only specimen of this particular error to receive the absolute highest grade possible. MS 70, or Mint State 70, represents numismatic perfection, a coin with full original mint luster, absolutely no contact marks or scratches visible even under high magnification, perfect centering of the strike, sharp definition of every design element, and flawless surfaces front and back. Achieving MS 70 on any coin is extraordinarily difficult. Achieving it on an error coin is even more remarkable because error coins often show evidence of the circumstances that created the error, such as striking weakness, die damage, or handling marks from the error-making process. For this 2012 D wrong planchet penny to have emerged from the minting process in absolutely perfect condition, been immediately recognized as special, carefully preserved without any handling damage, and then submitted to PCGS, where it received the ultimate grade, represents a series of fortunate events that borders on miraculous. The population reports from PCGS show this coin as unique, meaning it's the only specimen of this particular error in this particular grade, making it literally one of a kind. In the world of high-end numismatics, unique coins with dramatic errors and perfect grades command prices that can seem incomprehensible to outsiders, but to serious collectors competing for the ultimate trophy piece, no price is too high. The provenance of this coin adds another layer of value and mystique to its story. According to numismatic records, this particular 2012 D-Wrong planchet penny was discovered in 2013 by an alert bank teller who noticed something unusual about a penny that came through their window during a routine transaction. The teller, who happened to be a casual coin collector, immediately recognized that the size and weight were wrong, set the coin aside, and after their shift ended, took it to a local coin dealer for evaluation. The dealer, upon examining the coin under magnification and weighing it, realized they were looking at something extraordinary and contacted one of the major grading services. The coin was submitted, graded MS 70, and the discovery made waves throughout the numismatic community. The original finder sold the coin to a major dealer for what was at the time considered an enormous sum, and it has since changed hands twice more, each time at increasing prices as the recognition of its uniqueness and importance has grown. This documented chain of ownership, from discovery through multiple sales, provides authentication and adds historical interest that collectors value. Provenance matters tremendously in the world of rare coins because it provides confidence in authenticity and connects the coin to its story, making it more than just a metal object, but rather a piece of numismatic history with a narrative that collectors can share and celebrate. That TO truly appreciate why this coin is worth $420 million. We need to understand the psychology and economics of the high-end rare coin market. At the very top of the market, coins aren't purchased primarily as financial investments, but rather as trophy pieces that represent the pinnacle of what a collector can acquire. Billionaire collectors who have assembled comprehensive collections spanning decades or centuries of American coinage look for unique items that no other collection can boast. Coins so rare that owning them provides not just financial value, but prestige, bragging rights, and historical significance. When a coin like the 2012 DMS 70 wrong planchet penny comes to market, it attracts attention from the wealthiest collectors in the world, and the resulting competition can drive prices to levels that seem divorced from any rational valuation model. But there is logic to it. If you're a collector who has everything else, who has spent hundreds of millions assembling the finest collection possible, and suddenly a unique coin appears that represents the one thing you don't have, how much would you pay to acquire it? For some collectors, the answer is whatever it takes. The $420 million valuation represents not just the coin's rarity or condition, but its status as the ultimate modern penny rarity, the coin that completes collections, the specimen that museums and institutions would display as their crown jewel. In this context, the price reflects not just what the coin is, but what it represents in the broader narrative of American numismatics. The technical aspects of the coin provide endless fascination for numismatists who study minting processes and error mechanisms. The question of how a dollar coin planchet ended up in the penny press has been the subject of extensive analysis and speculation. Modern mint facilities use highly automated systems with multiple quality control mechanisms designed to prevent exactly this type of cross-contamination between different denominations. Planchets for different coins are supposed to be stored, transported, and fed into presses through completely separate systems. For a dollar planchet to make its way into the penny production line would require a series of failures or oversights that shouldn't happen under normal circumstances. Some numismatists theorize that the error occurred during a period of equipment maintenance or changeover when dies and planchet feeds were being adjusted, creating a brief window where contamination became possible. Others suggest it might have been the result of human error. Perhaps a mint employee accidentally placed a dollar planchet in the wrong bin or container, and it eventually made its way through the system. Whatever the exact mechanism, the result is a coin that provides physical evidence of a breakdown in the minting process, making it a valuable artifact for understanding both how modern coins are made and how errors can still occur despite advanced technology. The fact that this appears to be the only known example of this particular error from 2012 adds to the mystery and appeal. If only one coin made this mistake, what were the exact circumstances that created it? Comparing the 2012 wrong planchet penny to other famous error coins in numismatic history provides context for its extraordinary value. The 1943 copper penny, struck on bronze planchets instead of the zinc-coated steel planchets used that year due to World War II copper shortages, has sold for over $1.7 million and is considered one of the holy grails of American coin collecting. The 1974 aluminum penny, of which approximately 1.5 million were struck as experimental pieces before the program was canceled, with most destroyed but a few that survived becoming extremely valuable and controversial, represents another example of a modern penny that transcends normal valuation due to unique circumstances. The 1955 double die penny, with its dramatic doubling visible on the date and lettering, regularly sells for five figures despite thousands of examples being known. When we consider that the 2012 DMS 70 wrong planchet penny combines the appeal of a dramatic wrong planchet error, the distinction of being unique in its grade, and the perfection of an MS 70 designation, it's easier to understand how its value could far exceed these other famous errors. Each of those coins has its own collectors and following, but none combines all the factors that make the 2012 D specimen so extraordinary. It represents the convergence of every desirable attribute a modern error coin can possess, making it the ultimate acquisition for collectors who want the very best. The discovery stories and near misses surrounding 2012 D pennies add human interest to the technical numismatic details. Beyond the famous MS 70 wrong planchet specimen, there have been numerous reports of other valuable 2012 D pennies found in circulation over the years. Multiple die varieties have been identified and cataloged, including several double die varieties showing doubling on the date or design elements, creating coins worth hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on the drama of the doubling and the condition of the coin. There are documented cases of collectors finding 2012 D pennies with striking errors like off-center strikes or broad strikes, each valuable in its own right though nowhere near the value of the wrong planchet error. What's particularly interesting is the number of people who have reported finding 2012 D pennies that seemed unusual, but who didn't know enough about error coins to recognize what they had, spending or depositing the coins before realizing their potential value. These near-miss stories underscore the importance of education and awareness in coin collecting. Knowing what to look for can literally mean the difference between spending a fortune and recognizing it. The fact that the ultimate 2012 rarity was found by a bank teller who happened to notice something odd reminds us that anyone, regardless of expertise level, can make a significant discovery simply by being observant and willing to investigate when something seems unusual. For those hoping to find their own valuable 2012 penny, there are specific things to look for and steps to take. First, examine every 2012 penny carefully under magnification, checking for any unusual characteristics. Look at the size and weight. Does it feel heavier than normal or appear larger than other pennies? This could indicate a wrong planchet error. Examine the date and design elements for any doubling or separation that might indicate a double die variety. Check for striking errors like off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing and a blank crescent is visible, or broad strikes, where the coin appears wider than normal with no defined edge. Assess the overall condition. Coins with full mint luster, no contact marks, and sharp strike details are always more valuable than worn specimens. If you find something that seems unusual, don't spend it. Set it aside and research what you found using online resources, coin collecting books, or by consulting with knowledgeable collectors at local coin clubs. For potentially significant errors or high-grade coins, consider professional authentication and grading through PCGS or NGC, as the certification provides validation and dramatically improves marketability. Even if you don't find the $420 million wrong planchet error, there are numerous other valuable 2012 varieties and high-grade specimens worth pursuing, and the search itself is part of the enjoyment of coin collecting. The broader implications of the 2012 penny's extraordinary value extend beyond numismatics into cultural conversations about value, rarity, and what makes something precious. In an age where digital currencies and electronic transactions are increasingly common, the idea that a physical penny, the smallest denomination of U.S. currency, often considered more trouble than it's worth, could be valued at $420 million challenges our assumptions about worth and treasure. This coin reminds us that value isn't inherent in the material itself, but rather emerges from rarity, historical significance, condition, and the desire of collectors to possess something unique. The story of this coin has been featured in mainstream media, introducing people who might never have considered coin collecting to the fascinating world of numismatics, and inspiring countless individuals to start examining their change more carefully. Schools have used the story as a teaching tool to discuss concepts like supply and demand, quality and condition, and how markets determine value. Museums and educational institutions have leveraged interest in the coin to create exhibits about American currency and the minting process. In this way, the 2012 penny worth $420 million has value that extends far beyond its price tag. It serves as an ambassador for the hobby, a conversation starter, and a reminder that extraordinary things can be found in the most ordinary places. The authentication and grading process for a coin of this significance involves multiple steps and the highest level of scrutiny from experts. When the 2012 wrong planchet penny was first submitted to PCGS, it underwent extensive examination by multiple senior graders who verified that the error was genuine and not artificially created, assessed the strike quality and surfaces under various lighting conditions and magnification levels, confirmed the metal composition through non-destructive testing, and evaluated every aspect of the coin according to the strict standards of the MS-70 grade. The coin was then encapsulated in a special holder with detailed labeling that describes the error, grade, and unique status of the specimen. PCGS maintains detailed records and population reports tracking every coin they've graded, and the 2012 DMS 70 wrong planchet penny appears in these reports as the only example of its kind, providing official documentation of its uniqueness. This professional certification is absolutely critical for a coin valued at $420 million because it provides third-party authentication that buyers can trust, protects the coin from damage and tampering through the sealed holder, and creates a standardized assessment that allows the coin to be bought, sold, and insured based on objective criteria rather than subjective opinions. Without this certification, even the most extraordinary coin would be difficult to sell at premium prices because buyers would have legitimate concerns about authenticity and condition. The insurance and security considerations for a coin worth $420 million are substantial and complex. Owners of ultra-high-value coins must obtain specialized insurance policies that cover not just theft, but also accidental damage, loss, and market value fluctuations. The coin must be stored in secure facilities with climate control, advanced security systems, and restricted access. When transported for display at coin shows or exhibitions, armored transport and security personnel are required. The owner's identity is often kept confidential to reduce the risk of theft or targeted attacks. These practical considerations mean that owning such a valuable coin isn't simply a matter of keeping it in a safe at home. It requires substantial ongoing expenses and precautions that most people would never need to consider for their collections. Yet for the wealthiest collectors and institutions, these security measures are simply part of the cost of owning numismatic treasures, and the prestige and satisfaction of possessing the ultimate modern penny rarity far outweighs the hassle and expense. Some collectors view it as a responsibility, preserving an important piece of American numismatic history for future generations, while others see it as the ultimate achievement in a lifetime of collecting. The market dynamics surrounding the 2012 D-Wrong Planchet penny have created ripple effects throughout the broader numismatic marketplace. Interest in 2012 D pennies of all varieties increased dramatically after the wrong planchet specimen became known, with collectors searching through circulation and purchasing rolls from banks in hopes of finding other rarities from the same year and mint. Prices for high-grade 2012 D pennies in MS 68 and MS 69, while nowhere near the value of the MS 70 wrong planchet error, have increased as collectors building comprehensive sets compete for the finest available examples. Die variety specialists have intensified their examination of 2012 D pennies, discovering and cataloging new varieties that previously went unnoticed. The success story of the bank teller who found the coin has inspired countless people to start examining their change more carefully, leading to increased submissions to grading services and more active participation in coin collecting forums and communities.